There are little things worse in training than having the energy to continue with an exercise but being let down by our ability to grip. For some, this limiting factor can be the difference between progressing or plateauing. So I wanted to make this super quick video on understanding how to improve our grip strength so that we can keep improving on our important lifts. Let's get into it. How are you doing, Cali Crowd? Welcome back to the channel that makes calisthenics simple. To start out with, let's be super clear on what is meant by grip strength because it can come in different forms. What we'll be discussing today is more to do with holding. So think of hanging from a pull-up bar or holding a set of gymnastics rings, as opposed to pinching grip strength, which is finger focused and more related to climbing. In calisthenics, we rely on our ability to grip to perform various exercises, and if our grip strength lets us down, what most people tend to default to then is a set of behaviors that can be detrimental at best and critically damaging in the worst case scenarios. The first of those behaviors that we tend to adopt is to add grip specific exercises to our training. I will happily go on record now and say that if you are a calisthenics based athlete or anybody that lifts moderate to heavy weights on a regular basis, you very likely do not need additional grip specific exercises added to your programming. By virtue of lifting heavy weights and recovering well, your forearms will adapt to accommodate your workload over time. In fact, training the antagonist muscles to gripping will probably add more value over the long term. We've spoken on this channel before about how to avoid wrist and elbow issues, and that ensuring balance across the muscles that make up a joint is key to doing this. With most resistance training, be it bodyweight or weight training, it's wrist flexion that is often stimulated. And so being intentional with our training of wrist extension gives us an overall stronger wrist and stronger forearms that can be better used to support increased grip strength. If you find yourself asking why your grip strength is so weak, it might actually be worth scaling back on our exercises a little. If your chest and triceps could only accommodate 5 reps of push-ups, but we wanted to do more, what would we do? Well, typically we would scale back the exercise so that we could perform more reps with higher quality and promote better growth with this regression than we could have seen in the progression. Well, the same can be said of the muscles in the forearm. If your grip gives out in pull-ups, for example, scale back your pull-ups with bands. Yes, your pull-ups may seem easier, but we can still progress by slowing the reps down or pulling up higher, all while not letting your grip act as the ceiling to your training. This way, we perform an exercise that we would have done anyway, but at a lower intensity that allows our forearms to catch up to where our larger muscles, the lats, the rhomboids, the traps, might already be. Another thing we may look to explore when dealing with weak grip strength is nothing. The action of gripping is heavily influenced by the quality of our rest. When we wake up from sleep, we can struggle to grip anything. This is how neurologically sensitive grip strength is to our physical well-being, to the point where some physios even use grip strength over time as a way of monitoring the recovery of their athletes. So if you've been training a lot of exercise that leverage gripping over a prolonged period of time, but your grip strength does not seem to be improving, try a couple of days, a week of deloading and see what happens. A debate often arises on whether or not to use additional equipment in support of improved grip, such as chalk or gloves or wrist straps. And all of these can be useful additions, just be sure not to become wholly reliant on them. I also have to mention as part of this discussion too, that if you feel any tingling or numbness up the arm, then this may be an indicator of something more sinister. We should never train through pain, and just to be on the safe side, if you are experiencing pain, go and see a specialist who can physically diagnose you in real time. Crowd, the point I'm trying to make with all of this is that you really do not need to add stuff to your training in order to improve your grip strength. Particularly with calisthenics, our grip, like all of our other muscles, will get stronger over time if you allow it to recover. And I know it can be frustrating to hear, especially when you want to start your training now and you've got the energy to do it, but use these tips to make sure that you're still moving forward. And if you want to find out how to better deal with the calluses that usually comes from gripping heavy, then check out this video right here.